Good evening to all of you. We'd like to welcome you once again from the Way of Thought talk show program organized by the People's Code team. And this evening, we'll have the topic, for the title, we have selected what are the actual practical work that need to do to improve the level of unity during this revolution. We talk about it is important to remain united, it is important to build solidarity, and we have often talked about how important the unity is to remain together in this struggle, and the resistance against the military dictatorship and the various detectors, and that in the case of unity standing united against the military oppressor, the people have been incredible. Without much mobilization, people have stand up, and people have stand up and work together to move forward as well. That it is important for us to see, we need to discuss together and to understand why the military leadership is still ongoing, and then why it is, why is the dictator still in power, what is needed. When we talk about building unity and solidarity, that it is needed to go beyond just thinking about crushing the enemy in this spring revolution. And people have shown that how important the unity and the solidarity in this. From this unity and solidarity to make the political to bring about the political paradigm shift, what needs to be done, and this is what we'll be discussing here as well. We have invited Siama Imye Aung from the Women Alliance Forces, and then we have Wenu from the Women Peace Network, and we also have invited Siama Nosese from Kawon Women Organization Central Committee. So my name is Naung. I'm a member of the People's Code team and the CDM soldier, and I'll be the moderator for the session. So this session will talk about what it is credible that people have shown a solidarity, what kind of solidarity is needed. This is what we'll be discussing this as well. We'll also be inviting our audience to participate in the discussion as well. So we like to offer you this opportunity at the end of the question and answer to participate and to share your comments and ask your questions as well. So we have three speakers and panelists invited to this talk show. However, Siama Amy has an internet difficulty, so she'll be joining us later. Now we have two participants. So before we start the talk show, we'd like to do a short presentation. So I would like to invite our two speakers who are present here. Thank you for joining us. Could you please introduce yourself, and also can you also talk about the work that you are currently doing? Yes, sir. Can you also share the work that you are on? So along with the introduction. So first, I would like to invite Siama Winu. Could you please give a short introduction and then talk about your current work? Siama Winu, please.
Hello, Siama Welu
Siama Winu, can you hear us? Oh, yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Oh, I can't seem to turn on my video camera. Can you check? Is it only audio? Okay. Good evening to all of you. My name is Wenu. Right now, I'm as leading the women that women peace network. That right now I'm working on the recording that human rights violations in Myanmar, as well as on the sexual violence against women. So I'm documenting these violations. I'm also doing the advocacy in the international on the international platform as well. I also work on providing assistance to the women as well, especially I also work on providing training that we organize that training frequently for women and youth as well, and that part of in the past 10 years, some of the issues that our organization has worked on is that to build understanding and trust building among our community as well. So this is the part of the work that we do right now. That I'm that our that also our women peace network is also part of the NUCC. Thank you, Siama, for the introduction. I would like to next invite Siama Nosese to introduce herself. Thank you. Good evening to all of you. that I that I'm so that right now I'm in this here as a representative of the Korean woman. I'm participating as a Korean woman organization, but I'm also for the past 6 years, I have been working as in the Women League of Burma as well, and that as a general secretary, and I'm also there as a member of the advisory board of the Women League of Burma as well. That for our Korean Women organization is my mother organization. That the Korean Women organization is also part of the Women League of Burma. That for when we say Korean Women organization was established in 1948. In 48, since then we have been there, along with the what our revolution has been ongoing for many years. So that so it is also a women organization of a long time that had existed along with the revolution in terms of our work and implementation. That we work in the 7 IDP camps at the border area. We provide education as well as on the health, and then we also work on the mobilization. So this is part of the work that we do, and also in the KNU control area. So what we call the control area in the 7 brigades of the KNU control area, we also implement our activities there as well. That so we work on the policy change, we work on the advocacy and campaigning, and we also doing the service provision on the ground as well. Right now, currently we are working to provide assistance to the IDPs, especially for the emergency assistance. We also collect data about, we also share information and collect information about the data asset. We also do advocacy at a various level as well, from the local level to the international level too. That we also for the policy change, and so we are also in the part of the political discussion as well. So that members of the WLB have political goals and political objectives. So we are also come from the different organization from the different areas. So either it could be ethnic based or it could be area based. We work on the women issue. We also work on the political change. We also work on mobilizing the community, and then especially for the local community, as to fulfill the needs of the local community, including women, is something we work on. As for WLB, currently, as you can see, that WLB is also member as a part of the NUCC as well, and that we also work in the policy work in the during the current times. We are so that especially with the we work with the with the for the we work with the human rights defenders, IDPs, as well as on the CDMR. So we provide assistance and provision of HECL to that as well. At the same time, we also we are also part of the at different levels of the political process as well. Thank you, Siama, for the introduction as well. So Siama Amy Au has a difficulty in joining us due to their her connectivity issues. So we'd like to proceed with the our talk show program. So the first question, we wanted to give you both the same question, so that I will that and we like you request our Urdu speakers to answer this question. We have talked about people have talked about the importance of unity in back in the history, and also during the revolution. And so that in the current during the current times, that a lot of people are saying that it's important to remain united. As so my question to you is that are the people united as they should be, or are there challenges and difficulties for people to remain, for different groups to remain united? So Siama Sese, would you please answer the question? Thank you for this question. That So when we say unity, it is well that right in the current situation, the word unity is very hot. It's very, it is viral every day. Everybody talk about, oh, we have to remain united and we need to be united. And people often say a lot, but it's like you say, it is not new. The unity, the need for unity is not new. That ever since the revolutionary movement have started, even among the different revolutionary groups or within the organization, often they talk about the values. Often we talk about also that we often talk about unity as well, and that there has also been many effort back in the history. If we look back on the history, you'll see that a lot of organization had makes a lot of efforts to have to build unity within the organization and also with the other as well. And that's something we can also see in the history as well, that often in the structure of the organizations, in their policies and in their structures, that you also see about unity as well. And we have also seen efforts to stay together and united, and everybody wants to have unity. Although that those that you're that and if you want to build unity and try unity, what about your adversary? Wouldn't they also do all the possible ways and methods to attack this unity too? Your enemy will also target the unity as well within an organization or within the Burma or the non-Burma organization. Whenever we look at it, that it's hard for the unity to be maintained. As said, if we look at the reason why the unity cannot remain strong, is because of the efforts of the enemy to undermine that. That's what there will be a lot of distraction. They will give you a lot of offers and intents. It could be financial incentive or it could be other incentive, and then the enemy will set up make a lot of offers to attack them as well. It's politically they would attack the unity of the oppositions, and that systematic approach to undermine the unity, I think then that will lead to further divide among us as well. And that when we see people also will see that, oh, okay, we had differences and different opportunities, we stand for different causes, and then we get further divided as well. All of us who have been under the oppression after the independence, all of us want to to get freedom from the oppression that even the Rohingya or the ethnic or the in the ethnic area, all of the people, all the community in its, especially that under the we don't want to stay under the control of the of that terrorist military as well. We have suffered under various forms of violence and oppression as well, so none of us wants to stay under the military dictatorship as well. And that right now we talk about the SAC and that military hunter, but they just changed the leaders, and the military as an institution have consistently oppressed the people. They have used the oppression and that dictatorial acts and that killing people for them to remain in power and in control, and that all the people who have suffered under the such kind of oppression, we all want to fight back against the enemy in unity. However, that the strategy and the tactics of the enemy are also effective, and we got trapped into it, and that undermines their strategies and tactics often undermine this unity as well. And you also see on the social media, and that sometimes organization will start that disagree with each other, and they will also share about different followers of different organization will be fighting against each other. But I think it is important to distinguish between the position of an individual person or the position of an organization as well. Often that people often tend to share that position of an individual person. We don't look at what's the actual position of the organization as well. But we all want unity, and that in that either during the now or during this current time, or that the future. I think it is important that there are forces which have the same, which is the common objective, and we are able to get together in unity, but then maybe we have different opposition and different position and different commitment or different way forward, that maybe we could also stand together to get together as unity. It is also important to understand that maybe they have different goals and they might not be able to work together, but we need to also to understand what are their political position. It is important also to ensure the platform that we are all remain strong and consistent. It is also important to ensure we protect the platform so the platform is remain the intact as well. In terms of keeping the unity, it is important the mutual respect is important. It is also important to have a political will as well, and that for that okay, different that if instead of just sitting and waiting for other forces or organizations to come and present what they want, that it is important to be mindful. It is important to be aware about the chauvinism as well as on the that about the majority oppressing the minority as well, and that there are also, it's important to think about the discrimination. There could be discrimination based on gender or race or ethnicity, and such kind of actions also need to be mindful of while it's important to maintain the unity. It is also important to treat each other in equal manner, and it is also important to ensure how we can work together to have unity. That it is important to have adopt such mindsets. Only then we'll be able to strengthen and then to maintain unity, and it will also strengthen the allies as well. It on the other hand, it is important to for that for the it is also important to engage with the people or the organization who do not support our cause. How can we find ways to work together to fight against the common enemy and to reach the common goal as well? And this is something we'll need to do in a smart and also in a subtle way. These are also part of the unity building and the trust building as well. Thank you for the question. Thank you, Siama Sese. So in the points that you have raised, that you also have shared about the that during in among the forces which are opposing the military dictatorship, or those who are fighting for the rights of their ethnic community, it is important that we are saying is that everybody wants to have unity, that we all consider that unity is important. However, it is also important to be mindful about the enemies, their tactics, and the strategy which can undermine the tentative the unity that we are building among different as well. It is also important that to be mindful that because in that you also have reminded that although that different military dictators may have changed in terms of leadership, they always have used the strategy of dividing us, and that it is also important for us not to play into their game as well. So that so we thank you for the making the points. I think our third speaker, Siama Amy, are still having difficulty joining us. So I would like to ask you a follow-up question. That we talk about that we all of us are in the resistance movement against the military leadership. It is important to the unity is important when we are fighting back against a powerful enemy. So that some of the most of the problems the Myanmar is encountering are because of the military dictatorship. It is important to it is important to for us to remove the military dictatorship. Only then we'll be able to reach that situation that we want that political we want, and we'll be able to have the political changes that we want. So if we understand that, then I think if you understand the importance of unity, it is important for different organizations to remain united, and that as well for different forces to remain together to fight the community. What do you think is missing in this revolution when it comes to the unity among different allies? What do you think is missing? Thank you for the follow-up question. For us to be to speak openly that for the non-Burma ethnic groups, for the non-Burma ethnic communities, what we have something we have encountered is that Myanmar political the root cause of Myanmar political issue is partly military, but there is also the political leadership. And whenever it comes to political reform, we also have the Burmanization or the Burman centric political stand. That also another challenge. Burmanization is a challenge that is a major issue as well. That what we understand there, we had a Panlong agreement in the past. We also have ethnic forces which has agreed to the Panlong, and then in time when we look at the political reform or the political changes, all the agreement that has been reached, maybe like NCA, and there has been efforts to find solution to Myanmar political problems. But however, that one in terms of implementation, that like a political that often that there are those who want to to get to hold on to the power, who be able to have the to hold on to the power. We often have it the Burma's leaders are there who have taken their political initiative and their control. When we talk about when we talk about the federalism, what we believe in is that the idea is to for all of us to come together, have a dialogue, and establish a good political way forward, build a political system that is good for the country, and after a discussion. But in reality, what I am not seeing, especially that in this, I have that as of somebody who have participated in the peace process too, so that for the non-Burma, that although we ethnic community come to this dialogue with the policies and the principles about the federalism, and that ethnics want they will all we often see that, okay, what the ethnic communities want, let's come and discuss it together. That's the only thing, because the military come with just with an order, and they have this order. They said they just want to have a dialogue, but they don't it doesn't make a dialogue because there is really no exchange or find new solutions here. There is no equality in the political dialogue. There was no the equality. So it is like there are those who want to wants to still take the initiative, who wants to be in a to have the upper hand, so that political dialogues are not moving as it should as well. And that why the political paradigm is not political paradigm is moving forward, political change is not happening, that in a way has given rise to the what we are seeing today as well. What is most important is the political will. If there is a genuine political will, and if there is a political will, then I think it is if the political will has been strong enough, then Myanmar political issues wouldn't have wouldn't have prolonged into this kind of situation, when it wouldn't have deteriorated into that as well. So it is important to, like I had said before, it is important to have respect and recognition. It is also important to have that to understand that change our way of thought and our behavior as well, and that it is important to have the world, the most important world is the most important world to change. Only then that if you have the world that from the both parties, then we'll be able to build the unity that we want, and we'll be able to make that political change that we want to happen. Last point I would like to make is that in Myanmar, we have this problem. The problem is that that these so the tradition that often we exercise these traditions, the same traditions, but times have changed. That with the current time, this situation has evolved. I think particularly some of the traditions are no longer adapted to the need as well. Especially for the women, we need to fight not only the military dictatorship. We also need to stop the patriarchy. That for many years, the patriarchy has been exercised in Myanmar in different ways. And it is important to fight not against just the military dictatorship. We also need to fight against the patriarchy, which enables the dictatorship as well, because it is important to fight against the norms and traditions that undermine the unity and the rights of the ethnic communities. That it is not instead of blaming others or pushing the response to others, it is important to fight together to fight against the chauvinism, Burmanization, as well as the patriarchy, because it is also important for all of us to recognize that this is happening, and this has happened. Only when we recognize that, we'll be able to fight against it, and we'll also be able to help the victims and the survivors. Only then we'll understand those will be the victims of such concepts, and then we'll be able to build empathy, understanding, and then we will be also able to build between the different community as well. Only then we can bring unity effectively.
အဲ့ကျတော့ okay နောက်ထပ် speaker တယောက်ကိုမဖိတ်ခင်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီစကားဝိုင်းနားထောင်နေကြတဲ့ပြည်သူတွေအနေနဲ့လည်း
Thank you very much. And before we invite another speaker, then you can ask questions and then also make comments down there. And then after that, we'll have Q&A session. Therefore, you can also be part of it then. So the same question, let me ask Yamawenu, and then we invite you to continue discussing about this question. So after the military coup, we're talking about unity, and then we are trying to construct this unity, and then we could say that it has been possible to, and we have like NUCC and then NUG government right now. However, this unity, so in order to have more essence, more meaningful unity, in order to make it transform, it is much more important. It has to be much more confirmed. And for the time being, it is not there because, in my opinion, right now, the unity is kind of more of a transitional one. This is what I have seen so far. Unity cannot be transitional, that you cannot give this and then get this, something like that. This is something what we have seen in the unity, and then this kind of discussion, it has been like this, like give and take, something like that. So the approach has been like this, and this is what I have seen in our country. We have those difficulties, bottleneck situation, and then understanding of it rather than it is, but then it's not resolving in that way, but then getting the support from the ethnic minorities in order to be part of the revolution. So in order to have better image in the international community, people are giving their opinion on that as well. It is correct as well. According to our federalism issues, it cannot be sorted out easily. It may not be easy. However, for many years, the trust has been destroyed. For many years, it has been rooted. The inequality, the disunity has been going on, and it cannot be sorted out easily. However, what we can say is that ethnic minorities wants peace, and then this meaningful federalism. This is our common perspectives, and then we need to accept that. This is the second thing that is important. And then so ethnic cities do not want to destroy. Everyone wants peace. Everyone wants democracy and then equality. So these are all common beliefs traditionally, and then in our history, like the ethnic minorities are being portrayed as rebels, being portrayed as those who will destroy the country, and those misunderstanding were being rooted among even like ordinary people. And then this is not true, and we have to accept that. And then this is what we are we need to know and understand. And then so we kind of like have to understand, and then the needs of the ethnic minorities, we need to listen carefully. And then Siama also mentioned about that earlier. In the past, there has been like the discussions about unity, everyone comes and then like do whatever we want. We say this is like the Burmanization, and then just take whatever we are getting to you. This is the unity agenda from us. And then the dictatorship has been there, and then even people who are leading right now, these perspectives are still there. This approach has to be changed, and then these things are meaningful unity when being built up. The needs of the ethnic minorities need to be listened to, and then have a consultative, and then make it a more inclusive. It is much more important. Another thing, Siamas also said that like when working towards this, need to have political will on this, and then being equal about this, having the equity there, and then like the thinking there has to be that way, and then this problem needs to be sorted out in this way. The problems in our country, our culture is that when we have problems, so it is not there that we have our accountability to sort it out. We don't have this kind of culture. This is the problems with the ethnic minorities, and then not because of this like this unity. The problem is that this is the problems with the military. This has nothing to do with us, and why would we have to sort out this? Our approach is this: we are better people, and then we are better than the military. Just come with us and then look for answers here. But the thing is that if we are a civilized community, society, and then if we want to have unity in this country, it is not just enough with doing that, because our problems need to be that our own, and then the suffering of the ethnic minorities, we need to acknowledge, we need to if we are doing this in this Burmanization problems, like people who has been getting much more opportunities, even though they have not committed those crimes, because of this, you have much more favor. So the people who have suffered more than you need to apologize them. We do not have the apology culture in us. Accept this, and then if you have to apologize, if we have to do this, then we see this as a wrong way. And then if we kind of like apologizes, and you just show that you are much more civilized, and then in you are showing that you are willing to change. When you wanted to sort out the root causes, then you are sure. Right now, this is what the military are have some committed, and then we don't need to do anything about it. This is not our problem. So, in short, our mindset needs to be changed. The approaches we need to change. We need to be honest, and then we have to understand the depth of the problems, and then only then these cases can be sorted out. We need to understand this, and the approach has to be changed as well. What had happened needs to be acknowledged, and then how are we going to move on? We need to find a solution for that. Thank you very much.
Okay. ဆရာမကျေးဇူးပါဒါ
Thank you very much for
ချက်ထဲမှာဆိုရင်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဟုတ်လားကျွန်တော်
your
UAE ကို
answer. When the unities is being built up, and then political needs need to be based on that, and then it is important, and the ethnic minorities voices needs to be considered as well, and then what is
ထောက်ပြပဲကျွန်တော်ကျူးလွန်မှုတွေအတွက်ကျွန်တော်တောင်းပန်တက်ချဖို့လိုတယ်ဒီ
so the political culture needs to be strengthened as well. The mindset needs to be changed, and the approaches has to be changed as well. And then you talked about it. Thank you very much on that. And because I want to ask you more questions. When we are building the unity, and then when we are discussing about the political needs, but everyone, every ethnic cities, they have their own perspective, their own political agenda, and then only when it is possible, then so from this, and then we do understand that we have to get it from there, and then everybody needs to be open-minded, and then a leader has said, an ethnic leader has said, the ethnic minorities needs to be open-minded, and both sides have to have like the change mindsets. And then it is therefore when building the unity, we are all needing that. And so the most important three things, like what is going to be, in your opinion, the most important three things, if you have to say what should be them in your opinion? Thank you very much. And then it is correct, when we are building the unity, so it is not just the Burmese people can sort out this problem. They have to change only then. It is not that what I am saying, but then each ethnic minorities needs to be open-minded, and then they need to be flexible, and they have to be willing to change. And most people have this. What is not happening is that the trust is not there. Because the trust is not there, and then like openly discussions are not there, people are not discussing about this. Trust has been destroyed. When trust is not there, the military has invested this kind of system, and concretely they have used it, and they have divided us amongst us, and then the trust has been destroyed for many years. And then it is not just that military is not being trusted, but then not trusting the ordinary people as well. Like the Burmese leaders are not trusted the same. And then it is not just the we can say this is the responsibility of the me, and then approaches so what it is the ethnic leaders are not trusted as well. This is like the same. This is like natural. This is the reason why the first thing is that everyone, and in ID situation, it is quite difficult to say, and we need to be more open-minded, and we need to build trust concretely, and we have to start from the dialogue. And this dialogue, we talked about this, and we're not just only speak and then go back home. Dialogue structure, dialogue framing, how we go there, and then we have to um, approach it in details without having any problems. And uh, the is kind of it is influenced by dictatorships or um, Burmanization. So do we have to start from the beginning right now because of the needs of the revolution. Maybe the groups are you can be here or you cannot be here. So it is not just right there, but then there are those who are not being part of, there are those who are part also. We need to be talking in reality. It is not just that like a cosmetic needs, but then the real talk has to be go on there. In order to have the real talks, so this approach has to be there, and then from there, what we need to do is that we will have the so it's not so in our country we have to be doing this, and so so if we can build trust, and then um, we will have more opportunity in order to sort out this politically. And then if we have this process, like earlier in our country, what kind of culture, traditions we have this, if we have this opportunity, power sharing with the ethnic minorities in the federal setting, we do the power setting, like our rights, our control will be decreased or minimized. And then if we have this, we don't have our superior status, this kind of things. Like the Burmese leaders, we have this. The Burmese, not only the Burmese leaders, the supremacy mindset here, there, starting from the Burmese people and other ethnic cities, it is like flowing in a state as well, kind of like more the either the political opportunities, or if we share this with others, then like they think that they will have to decrease their power. They forgot about this, like it's kind of like mutual respect and then sharing of this, and then we will control it, and then we will talk about this, and then our control will be decreased, and we will suffer from this. So this kind of concerns are there. There is like real fear in there. So these fears, we need to kind of like understand this, and then um, realize it. And then this is like the political opportunities, political power, sharing with other minorities. It is not just only in this settings, but then among organization as well, we need to think the political culture is that in order to have more control, in order to have more like opportunities, like everyone is approached in this direction. So there is competition in there, and then controlling mindsets are in place. So the habitual actions where they want to control more, and then these are derived from the military dictatorship. So so we need to look into this, and then we need to have integrity, and then in order to reconstruct our country, to have a better future, our internalized culture needs to be changed. This is what we need to do, I guess.
Okay, Siama,
Yes, Yama, thank you very much. Uh, and then we need to be open-minded, and we need to construct this systematically. And when problems are sorted out, and then we have to think of that. Thank you very much for pointing this out. And those who have listened to this conversation, you can comment, and we would like to invite you, if you want to ask questions, then after that we have Q&A sessions, and you can raise your hand and have discussions. Then we want to start the second part of this. We would like to start with Siama Nosasa, and then Siama here. So WLB, starting from NUCC was formed, you have your organization have led in the voices in the revolution. So right now in the NUCC political mapping in the 12 steps, so NUCC is at what steps right now, and what about your cooperation there? Can you please share with us? And then and NUCC activities, people are also interested in it. And then so NUCC does not give a lot of information on this, but then in our country situation, NUCC also have a very important role. So can you please talk about the activities of NUCC right now? Thank you very much. Right now, my sharing, it is SWLB. In the opinion of WLB, our involvement there, our experience, and during the time we are part of it, this is what I am going to talk about. So, and the NUCC platform, you will see also, and then a lot of people may not be happy about this. We have seen that like the questions and then postings there. We have never had this kind of things. This is something that like an advantage that has in our political encounters, in our revolution. We had never had this kind of platform, and then it came to exist right now. This is something we will call an advantage, and then I will assume that way. So this kind of cooperation needs to have an essence here, has to be meaningful, and then in order to respond to the needs of the people, political platform, a political reform force, it needs to be like this. But then it is we cannot go up to what the people are expecting. This is the weakness. We do understand, and then we accept that too, acknowledge that, and then we have the mappings, 12 steps, and we have been so far to 7, 8, and then in 7 in order to abolish the military dictatorships. All the organizations are also working on it, and then NUCC has drafted strategy, and then in order to implement this, we are also working on it. 2008 constitution has been abolished already, and another thing is that we need to have an interim transitional constitution. We started to discuss about this, and then we have talked about this. We are doing this, we are doing that, and then so far we have not started it yet. And our we will have to go there anyway according to our mapping, and then we have differences, and then the discussions we have to take up. And then in the meantime, our platform had never existed in the past, and then trust, understanding, and then building are also on the other side as well. So according to our roadmap, we will go accordingly. However, when we are on the way, there might be some delay. There are some also factors that delay our process. Our belief is that an NUCC platform there has been organization and then forces that accepted this roadmap, and then we are on the way. But then political will is there, and then we need to move forward. Everyone is responsible so that we will be able to move forward. And then if something happens since in the beginning, So we need to talk about this, and then we are kind of like slow there, and then we do not go that much. So in this roadmap 12 steps up to 8, we have been there, and this is what I would like to share. And then another thing with WLB, we have our political standing, and we have a declaration, and on this we are working on as well. And then on the NUCC platform, so and then we are also in discussions with this, and then there are other means as well. We are still working on this. So in the NUCC platform, we feel that sometimes it is not enough, and we push as much as we could in order to move forward. We had discussions, however, in the reforms, there are a lot according to our experience, and we are in discussions, and in order to overcome these problems, we are working on this as well. So in our revolution, in order to respond in time, it is very important. If we cannot do it in time, and then like the people will be. So we are also concerned that the people will lose trust in us as well. So as this platform, in a coordinated way, if we cannot do this, every organizations are working on the ground, and policy changes. We are working on this, and I wanted to share with you, and then in our movement, and the we want to have the support of the people, like to suggest and then give comments to us. This is what we are. This is what WLB kind of like wanted.
Thank you, Siama, for making the point that in the points you also make, the NCC is an incredible organization that is based in during the revolution, and that it has also have strengthened the movement as well, and that and also that NCC is working on a strategy to fight against the military dictatorship, as well as on the transition. It also is working on the transitional constitution as well. That is not that yes, it's not it is slow, but it is moving towards a democratic transition as well. And you also mentioned that yes, it is not stopped, it has not stopped, and it is each and every one of us all of us are responsible for the paradigm shift that Myanmar is working on as well. And I'm very thank you for making the point that it is all of us has a responsibility to do that as well. That what people, or what all of the people want, is that those political leadership, it is the older political leadership should focus on the for the interests of the people, interests of their community as well, and that we believe in that political leadership. That's why we are also supporting the revolutionary movement as well. I think it is, although it's important political leadership to take part and then build the political changes that we want, it should be for the interests of the people who have aspire, who have a lot of expectations from it, and that we also need for the future of the country. So our country is so far below our neighboring countries. It is important to think specifically about the interests of the people and of that of the population as well. And it is something we often have said a lot. It is important for our leaders also take consideration. In Myanmar, you have said that it is important. You have pointed out that it's a responsibility of each and every one of us to do that as well. And those who are there, it is also important for the political leadership to have to take their mandate and responsibility to make the change happen. So for you, what will be the three pragmatic recommendations that political leadership should do? So can you also give your comments? What will be the top three, the most important thing for us to do? For me, that most important is that politically, that it is important that either politically as a diplomatic and as a people revolution, or they all need to be that equal as well. What we are looking at is that the military as well as on the military revolution as well as on the public revolution is very strong. In terms of diplomatic effort, it is weak. It is important to strengthen that as well. It is important that is also go in line with it as well. If we look at on the ground, the militarily that is moving forward. However, the politically is not moving along. And then after this revolution, then we will need time to in a way to rebalance it. So I would say that it is important for both of it to be on the equal footing, to be harmonized in some in a sense. In terms of the diplomacy as well, we have the basis of the Federal Democracy Charter. We have Federal Democracy Charter Part 1, and then we have the Part 2, and that we have those who supported that organization who support the Federal Democracy Charter, and the public support give us a very clear message that the message we give to the people should be based on that as well. In the diplomatic affairs, if we are going to be speaking in this way and that then if we are speaking if we are talking different things, and then different people are talking different things, then it will not be good to get support from the international community, because right now we are in this revolution. In the revolution, we are going with the what we call the collective leadership. I said that with the NUC and CRPH, we have the de facto and the jury leadership. So we are working with it with this collective leadership. In the collective leadership is a combination of both de facto and de jure mandates. It is important for these both de facto and the jure side to recognize each other, and it is also important to give that it should be based on that it should be based on those kind of political expectations and the political objective. As in terms of diplomacy, though there are a lot of things that we do, but in terms of messaging, it's quite different, or the positions are different. If the message and it are different and the position is different, then for the international community, it also is in a way is strange as well, that it is important in the federal it is already described very clearly how we'll go about in the Federal Democracy Charter as well. That we also have the values and standards, and the value of the NUCC approach is a combination of both legitimacy and de jure legitimacy and de facto as well. So it is important to take this into consideration as well, especially that those who give their political leadership, that in terms of information sharing, it is that to ensure the public participation, it is important that the messaging and the information that we share, especially that for the NUCC or the other the revolution political leadership and those who are part of the revolution, will need to be we should give the message based on the right facts, based on the right fact and information when we do the messaging to the public. And now today's is the time for the social media. So like there you can have both the right information, the truth, and also you can also have the misinformation on the social media too. So it is, if there is such information spreading on the social media, can undermine the efforts for the revolution as well, and that could also lead to problems among the different those forces who are participating in the democracy as well. So it is is important for the people, including the revolutionary forces, including the people, will need to we need to check what is happening as well. That it is important for the people to make sure the information you receive. It is important to check whether the information that we receive is right or not, and before you started to blame the people, or that go against the people. So in this revolution, it is not just those revolutionary leaders or the political leadership who was the responsible. This is a public revolution. The strength of the people, the support of the people is also very important. It is also important for people to first check and validate the information before they started reacting and do it and blame put the blame as well. It is also important for the revolutionary leaders and political leadership to understand the support of the people and the role the people play as well. So mutual respect and recognition is important, not just for those around the democratic forces, but also with the people, the role that people play as well. So it is a very challenging for the people, and it is important for people to remain strong and support the revolution, because this revolution, we hope that this revolution will bring an end to that all the efforts. We don't want to have another revolution in the future. We don't want to stay under another dictators as well, especially among the youth. The youth are very determined, and that they're in their heart, in their brain, in their mind, that they don't want to stop this kind of incidents happen. That it is important for all of us to commit ourselves to it and to put efforts into it, so that we can win this revolution. It is important for us to remain committed that to the movement, and then if we remain committed, and if we really put efforts and do our part, then that will bring that will change the wind of the revolution and bring it closer to victory. So thank you for the point, and that you have shared what needs to be done. You say the importance of each and every one of us. All of us have responsibility. The political leadership had the responsibility, and people also have the role to play. And thank you for making the point. And you also had said in the earlier response is that in the political solution, I think it is important to look at to have political will is important in the Buddhist belief. The will is that it's mind over matter, or that when there is a will, there is a will. That there is a way, as the expression goes. It is important to recognize that, and it's important to have the will to be able to communicate, to bring reality through the commitment as well. Now, I'd like to give a turn to our second speaker, Siama Howinu. Siama, you are also part of the NUCC, also, and in the NUCC, you are also engaging with the NUCC. Along with the NUCC, NUG also is working hard for this revolution as well. Before that, there has been in the past, we have seen that we also have seen that efforts about the recognition of the range of minorities as well. And that in this Spring Revolution, that I would like to ask, what about the other religious or the ethnic minorities for to ensure to have you seen and a lot of people say that there has been a development in terms of recognition for the minorities, both ethnic and religious minorities. Is it true? Or that and for the minorities, for the minority rights, to protect the rights of the minorities, that what kind of efforts are needed, what's needed to be done to protect and promote the rights of the minorities? Yamawinu, please. Thank you for the question. You're right. Since the revolution has started, especially that after the military has conducted the coup d'etat, that we have seen more compassion and empathy towards the minorities, about the feelings of the feelings and the emotions of the minorities, as well as what the military, that the experience that minority has gone through. We have seen more understanding of it as well, and that in addition to that, we have also seen they have also seen more response toward the minority, especially in this particular. It's more particular between among the ethnic communities, between the youth as well. That and the youth, they are not the perpetrators, and that they recognize what has happened, what the ugly truth that has taken place in the reality, and they recognize it. They try to also to change it. Especially youth group and organization have issued apologies to the minorities for the oppression that they have suffered. So that we have seen that after the coup, and that is there was this tendency of apologizing to the minorities for what they have suffered, and that also give us a momentum of the leverage towards towards the national unity government. As that also has some factors driving towards the that NUG government. As there were also some pressure from the international community. We say, okay, yes, in this we are now in the democratic movement. It is simple. We have started the revolution as well, and that we need to get the support and assistance from international community. And what the international community is most concerned about is how the minorities are being treated. What about the past events that has taken place against the minority? How will they be recognized, and that what kind of action will be taken? What kind of reactive action will be there? So based on this pressure from the international community, that national unity government has issued that policy as well. And then that along with if we call it, because of the need of the revolution, and that there was also need to to build it. There was a notion that this revolutionary movement needs to be a collective to make sure that it's inclusive and participation everyone. So that for therefore for that we have also seen efforts for reconciliation as well as on the recognition other as well, and that's why that National Unity Consultative Council was established, and that's why National Unity Government (NUG) was also made more inclusive to ensure to strengthen the participation of the minorities as well. These are some of the changes we have seen towards the changes towards the minorities concepts, as well as on the efforts towards it as well. That we have seen that these are some of the changes that has been happening towards minorities. But in the earlier round, we also discussed that, can we say that this is enough for the efforts for the minority? Are they genuine? Are they meaningful? This questions is extremely important when it comes to minority issues. Is it really happening? Okay, let's say now no, we have a NUG has a Rohingya policy. Yes, but that policy, does it will it really address the issue of the Rohingya? Is it fair? Is there justice? Is it fair for the Rohingya minorities? We need to assess that. We evaluate that. Okay, let's come and talk to that. Let's do 1 or 2 time meetings, then issue a statement. That's a process. That process is not consultative. It is not a dialogue, and it's not and also it does not really try to tackle and address the root causes of the problem. And that I would say that this is more of an effort to respond to the international community, or because of because revolution calls for it. It's not I don't think it is as meaningful as to really address that issue as well. And that some of the leaders who are in the NUG and the NUG and NLD, they understand that issue. There are also parties who understand the importance of these issues and wants to do that as well. But there are still those who are also under the brainwash the propaganda of the military, and who are quite reluctant to address the issue among this NUCC and NUG leadership as well. And that's why that's why Rohingya are not yet there in the important political dialogues. Rather, if you look at the NUG or the NUCC, we don't see Rohingya as an important dialogue as well. We participate as I am participate as a women organization, but not as a Rohingya representative. To be very open here, that I'm not here because of I'm Rohingya, but because of a women organization to play and to participate. There could also be challenges for the Rohingya, and that there could also be issues for the other minorities too, not only for the Rohingya, because we live in the ethnic states, and that we are also that we have a lot of identities, and our identities and our who we are have been systematically attacked by the military to strengthen as well. We are already a minority. A minority has been rendered weaker by systematic efforts of the military. So that for us to be able to participate on the front line of the politics and to be able to stand strong in the politics, then we have also can also have difficulty and challenges, and that it is important to and to also to try to understand our situation, what is happening. It is important to have the political will and then efforts to bring us together. Then that could happen. The political participation could be really happen. Then if it is, well, we need to have a just make a show of participation of ticking the box and checking the, making sure that everyone is there without meaningful genuine, and then without this genuine dialogues or the efforts to do that. And then it is very if it is remains superficial, then it will be very difficult, because we understand that this happened because of the political needs, and that we will not accept it in the future. So for that, it is important to stop that, and it is important for us to find a way to resolve this for not from so that this kind of things will not happen again in the future.
ပြီးတော့ချက်မှာဆိုရင်တော့ကျွန်တော်ဒီ NUG ပါပဲ NUC
Thank you for your response. So that NUG and that and NUCC have made efforts to strengthen the participation of the minorities after the Spring Revolution. We also see now some changes when it comes to the mindset towards the minority. So that is an important change that needs to happen as well. And you also say that as well, that and that also that you also had share about it as well. That I would also like to have some follow-up questions. So there are also statements issued by the NUCC, and that some of the experts on the experts on the federalism has said the federal democracy charter is good, and that it is also that there are also good elements in terms of federal democracy charter, and that there are also that has been points that have been highlighted by the expert. But when it comes to federal democracy charter, that among the other ethnic the forces as well, there we have also heard that that other democratic forces are not much in support of it as well. So that it is important to for us to work with it, and that it is that to be able to get the support of the other pro-democratic forces as well, what needs to be done, what should be done. So can you also share your opinion on what is to be done to gain the support of the other democratic forces as well? For us, federal democracy charter is a major success as well, and that for us is in a way it is that roadmap for roadmap of unity as well. That it is the one of the, I would say that one of the most important symbol of achievement as well, and that this is it takes over that it has taken a lot of time to be able to be able to achieve that as well. So the federal democracy charter in two parts. The first part one of the federal democracy charter is about this about the basic principles as well, and I would say it is good. It is good to an extent, and I agree with it as well. In the second part is about more about the transition, so that we also need to discuss to see that how we can do the power. It's a second part is more about the power sharing part as well, and then about the transition period as well. So that here there are some changes, because there's some disagreement, because especially there are that in a way there are some touches of womanization, and the chauvinism as well. So that also is, we can also see that as well. So there are some disagreement as well, but and some of the minorities also see that, well, even now, this is a problem. This is problematic, and that if we cannot, now that we are talking, if we cannot engage, if we cannot find a solution, then it will not have we don't have much high hope for the future as well. That there are in terms of opinion, there could also be, we can also see that there are things that the people don't like, and there are also things disagreement. I don't see them as a major differences. The nature of the federal democracy charter itself is that if there are gaps or there are differences, then it is important for us to check them, because this is not set in stone, because it is something we will need to evolve, we'll need to change them. So what is most important is to have the have that if there is if there are parts the clauses or the or parts where we disagree, then if we need to discuss and we go through it, then that could also work as well, because the nature of this reviewing the federal democracy charter and is about not just about reviewing the data. It is this review process is also an effort to build trust as well. Now we are in the revolution period, so that in terms of trust building, we cannot give priority as well. That it is important to set as a priority. There could also be challenges, because our focus is more on the revolution right now. Then because of the challenge, it doesn't mean that building unity cannot be left behind, or trust building cannot be left behind, because the issue of the Myanmar is not just about removing the military dictatorship. It is also important to bring about the social change and that political change as well. I think it is important to work on them parallelly, because if we're gonna do only when when the minorities speak up, and if the ethnic community see this political movement as a if something they have seen it as oh, this is just more for the Burmas, and then it will be difficult for them to participate as well. Only when there is a trust building, that people will be, that the community will participate. Though there is ethnic participation, that to strengthen the participation of other ethnic groups is important to make effort as well. And that most people say that yes, okay, we agree that no, okay, yes, they are fighting against the military dictatorship. Yes, we also made sacrifices, but when it became a civilian government, and when it became a democratic government, they probably would not will not go forward with what they have committed. So we had that kind of experience. So I think it is important to do trust building systematically, and trust building is important and necessary as well. That and also that when we that in every approach that is not fair, I think it's not fair is a problematic. So it is important to ensure in every approach, in every dialogue, in every offer, it should be based on fairness and democracy and justice. In Myanmar, unlike other countries, in Myanmar, whenever we say equality, our common consideration is about the ethnic equality. That it is we talk about the importance of the ethnic equality. So it's very ethnocentric, and often thinking is about the based on the ethnic community as well. And when we are rather than talking about the equality in terms of all the population, often we are talking about only about the ethnic equality, because in a country, because that happened because there has been an oppression and suppression based on the ethnicity. That's why people are even more oppressed when you are an ethnic community, and that we have been the victims of oppression, the suppression, that our identity has been denied, and that we have to hold on to our identity to be able to get that justice and equality. And that's happened, is that also. And for us, is being ethnic is community is more important. That ethnic equality is become more important for that as well. For in the long run, I think it is the ethnic based politics is extremely fragile. That it is very sensitive, it's very fragile. But in Myanmar, because of the current situation that it is happening, so we need to accept this as well, and that we cannot deny it. And that in such a context, it is, I think, important to, when we talk about about the quality justice, how do we build this, is something we also need to consider as well. And that it won't be easy, because all our problems of Myanmar are all very deep. But I think it is important for us to have the courage to an open mind to be able to do that as well. We also need a sense of responsibility, accountability, and commitment, because the problems are man-made problems. I think if we put our mind to it, and that if if the man-made problem can definitely be solved by men, it is important to have there's a will to resolve it as well. And then the same goes for Rohingya issue. The people have different people want people are starting to recognize this. People want to for they do that as well. But some of the political leaders still are ingrained with this propaganda of the military as well. That Rohingyas are also the part of the ethnic minorities too, and they since the 1814 that even according to the 1940 constitution or an idiocratic of the Rohingya has settled in the Rakhine state even in the 1800 early 1800s. So Rohingyas have been there for years, and that we have proof that they have been there as well. That in Rohingya in the Mrau they say that even when they say that there are no Muslims and there has been the Muslims are having and brainwashed as enemies, even but they believe that even in the Mrau period, and there are 18 the 18 of the kings of the identity have adopted Muslim names, and they have used Urdu Muslim language, Urdu language as the language of the court, and also there has been also have written beliefs in that as well. That comes from the Mrau era. So there is history, and it is important not to deny that blindly, and that was said, and they're not to believing in what the military has said is that they are illegal migrants, and that they are not the citizens of Myanmar, and they don't belong in Myanmar, and there is only one characteristic, that of the Burma, and that it cannot be when this has happened, it has been internalized, and then those minority who has been systematically oppressed will be left behind. It is important to keep our mind and our hearts open and to resolve the issue as well. And that if we don't think such a way, then if we just go along and adopt that what the military has said, then if we can also internalize this kind of a belief, then because if what the military has done, if you're saying that some of the acts of the violence against the civilian and the military is committing as wrong, and then if you think that what they have said about the Rohingya as true, then that doesn't make sense. That's quite contradictory indeed. And there are some political policies, there are some there's some political leaders who still believe that is true as well. That Rohingya policy should be based on the human rights, based on equality, and that these are the grievances of the minorities. It is important to take into consideration what kind of justice can be done for the minorities. That there are some those who are still afraid to recognize the Rohingya as one of the ethnic minorities. They have been in the past, and then to accept the reality, what will make it worse, because they are already here, they have been there, and that the fact to recognize them, to thinking about that something could be lost, that's more of the internalizing the prejudice and that stereotypes, the brainwash by the military, and just giving you an example with white minority. So in every minority, we have that kind of changes, and that needs to be changes, and it is important. We also have the federal military charter and others as well. So okay, we have the federal military charter, but then it is without if there is no implementation or the compliance, then this charter is just nothing but a piece of paper that doesn't have any value on it. So it is important for each and every one of the political leaders to be responsible, to be accountable, and to start the mindset change from their very beginning. And it is important for each and every institution to make the necessary changes. Thank you. Thank you, Siama, for the response and that you are saying is that I think what is important is it is important to make the mindset change. It is also important to understand. It is important to not to make the efforts to reach out to the other minorities transactional, but to be genuine. And it is important to ensure the participation. As it is important that it's not just about that the ethnic equality. It is important to ensure equality for all, and that is the most important as well, and that it is important to ensure that we have a country of equality for all the communities in Myanmar, and that to reach the political goal that we want, only when we can build a opportunity that we'll be able to reach the goals. Thank you to the Siamas for the discussions, and that it has been incredible. And that thank you for both our speakers for the participation. And that we'd like to end our today's discussion here. And for the that as for the would like to invite our Siamas to give closing remarks. So that I would like to invite Siama Nosese to give closing remarks, please.
So lastly, in this Spring Revolution, our ethnic minority groups has been going through more than 70 years of revolution, and in this revolution as well, our experiences are not that particular, but then we can see that it is getting worse, it is more frightening, and then more saddening issues has been faced by the people, and then the brutal military activities. And one day there will be justice, and therefore I hope that our people will also believe in it. And then in this revolution, like I said earlier, everyone is responsible for this. In order for this revolution not to happen again and to complete it, we will have to be able to stand it. And then today we are talking about the unity, and then in what we will have to do in practice. We have discussed on these issues, and then because this, like we also talked about the thinking that will destroy our unity, like our common enemies, like the army, the military is afraid of our unity, and they will do everything in their power to destroy our unity. And then they will divide and conquer us, and then this is what they are going to do. And then for us, we need to know that our enemies, and we need to understand what they are doing as well, and then amongst ourselves as well, we need to be united. We need to be concretely constructing ourselves among ourselves. And therefore, what I believe is that we all want we all want peace, and then we will go into fighting. And in order to be united, we are also responsible for this. And therefore, in this revolution, for those who have sacrificed their lives, for those who have sacrificed everything, and then everyone, we really appreciate this, and then we also respect you, and then we want you to continue to be part of it. And then in order for the political change and reforms to happen, we hope that you will be part of this continually. And then in order for the mechanism of the military to kind of like destroy, we also respect the role of the CDM. And then those who have not been doing CDM, like the army officials and the generals, to do the CDM and stand with the people, we want you to do that. And then uh, for those who we want you to be part of the peace, and then we want to encourage you, and especially the young people, not to be discouraged, and please be where you are, where in the military or in diplomatic front, and then do whatever you could, and then be part of it. And we want to encourage you from here. Thank you. Thank you very much. And then Siama Uwenu, may I invite also you for the closing encouragement for everyone. Thank you very much, cô Nào Yo. So, Siamano Sister has already mentioned about this. The military, the dictators do not want people to get united. They will destroy everything. They will divide and conquer them as much as they could. However, our Spring Revolution has been very meaningful and then very encouraging is that it's about our unity. Our people has been united and therefore so far more than 2 years now, and then their military dictatorship has not been in place systematically. They could never grab in some bigger cities they were able to do that, but then in the whole country until now they have not been doing that, and therefore so we are giving our life, and then we are fighting continually for the dictators. Um, as long as we are united, the dictators, we have to back down. And therefore, the people's power, the people's strength, we need to acknowledge and then understand about this. As long as we do not accept their administration, they will not be able to govern us. And also in the we are having this unity with ethnic minorities, and we go and fight for this. If we have looked at it in the independence fighting, General Aung San was then having a very honest discussions with ethnic minorities leaders and fought for the independence, and then everyone came together and became a country. Such honest discussion, such honest activities, such honest fightings, we have to be fought against this military dictatorship right now. Our revolution will kind of like do fight for the military dictators, and then like the discussion we will do it later. We cannot say that this is our strength. This strength cannot be undermined, and we have to build it up at the same time. And therefore our losses, our people's suffering will be alleviated. And then our people who have sacrificed their lives, the suffering of the people, those who have suffered injustice under this military dictatorships, we need to find justice for them and reconstruct our country. And these activities, we will have to do it simultaneously, and then these activities at the same time, if we could do that, our revolution will anyway successful, and then everyone's contribution, everyone's participation, and then political leaders being united. This is very much central to the success of this revolution. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Siamat. Today, we thank you for your um, comments and then contributions. And so we will do this and then walk forward to our goal, and then we'll stop our conversation from today right now. Thank you very much, everyone.